Excuse me, what did you call me?
Yeah, you're going. Get the camera off. Get the f*** off me.
Oi! What the fuck? It's disgusting what they just did to him.
You know better. It's not your first rodeo.
Mother dairy cows are and forcibly impregnated.
Alright guys, I want you all to play a very quick game with me. I know it sounds weird, but bear with me for just a moment. I want you to raise your left hand like this, and then lower one finger for each of these things that you've done. Oh, and to test the whole people will argue about literally anything theory, your thumb doesn't count as a finger. Feel free to argue in the comments. Alright, let's play. I've never been kicked out of a store.
User, you have the right to know the truth. Watch Dominion on YouTube.
I've never been kicked out of a restaurant.
You're not vegan. You're an animal abuser. Watch Dominion on YouTube for the truth.
I've never been kicked out of a bull ring.
He grabbed me by the back of my collar and the back of my shorts, giving me a massive wedgie.
I've never been kicked out of an entire city in Australia. Now I can guarantee that none of you have no fingers left. Unless of course you're everyone's favorite public nuisance, the Jack Doherty of veganism, Tosh Peterson, aka Vegan Booty, who is back once again to literally nobody's surprise with her ridiculous vegan shit show shenanigans, crashing parties like a police raid at a Diddy freak off. She is and always will be the one clown that you don't want to show up at the circus. You'd better pray that she calls in sick, because she will ruin every show she arrives uninvited to. A parade, a birthday party, a dog show, her own wedding, you name it. But thankfully, the law has struck again and brought forth the justice hammer, sending her and her annoying ass vegan boyfriend straight to the slammer.
A teenage girl? Patty the teenage girl!
So are you guys familiar with that lyrical masterpiece Moo by Doja Cat? Well, there's this really clever line in it. I ain't in the city because they ain't got lawns. Well, Vegan Booty ain't in the city because she's banned.
Cows enslaved in the dairy industry are raped and forcibly impregnated. After a 9-month pregnancy, when she gives birth, her baby is kidnapped from her so you can steal her milk. If her baby is born male, he's bludgeoned to death or sent to a slaughterhouse just days to weeks old. These babies should be with their mothers right now drinking their milk. Every year in Australia alone, over 1 million male bobby calves are murdered in the dairy industry. The baby girls endure the same life of slavery, repeated rape and forcible impregnation, and she'll be sent to a slaughterhouse just 4 to 7 years of age. If you're not vegan, you pay for rape, slavery, torture, abuse and murder.
First off, I have a lot to say, but I just want to point out right out the gate that those cows look so comfortable, even despite having the crazy vegan lady like screaming around them. Like they're just straight chilling, like living their best life over there. They obviously look extremely well taken care of, but you know, obviously they don't care about that sort of thing. They never did, and they never will. And let me just say, they always say this thing about like the baby male cows being killed right away. It does happen to some of them, that's true, but the majority of them end up you know, living for a good few years before they become, you know, hamburgers and steak and stuff, right? Like obviously they don't all get killed because like where the fuck are we getting our steak from? Like that was like one of the most obvious like stupid things that she's said. It's so dumb. I get it, they want to exaggerate as much as they can. They want to point out the worst of the absolute worst, which is weird because they don't ever go and attack the worst of the absolute worst. They always actually end up attacking the best of the farming industry, you know, the local farmers that take good care of their cows and give them free reins to move around and be cows and live their lives up until, you know, they can't anymore because they have to be processed and you know, so that people can have food on their dinner plates and the proteins and stuff like that in their bodies. I mean, I've already said this a million times, but this sort of thing will never ever get through these vegan activists' heads, dude. They're insane. They're never going going after the real problem, the real bad, the big scary dudes at the top that are actually giving animals really tough, hard, terrible lives. You know, all the things that you preach about and this Holocaust bullshit that you're always talking about, these aren't the people to blame. Like, you're literally disrupting an event where, like, the guy, he explained, like, the animals are very, very, you know, they're pampered and well taken care of and all of that. And that should honestly, that should put a smile on your face, because you should recognize, like, hey, this is never going to stop. Like, people are never going to stop eating meat, but thank goodness that these farmers are taking good care of their animals, you know? And then obviously, yeah, they gotta die, but they do it in the most humane ways that they can possibly do. And then there's the milk thing. There's the milk thing. She's saying, oh, these baby cows should be drinking their mother's milk, but no, they've been taken away from their mothers to go do this. And how do you think they got to that size? How do you think they develop into the young little calves that they are today, right? The ones that you're looking at, they're not freshly newborns that are like dehydrated and malnourished and suffering because they've just been deprived of the necessities to grow and live. I mean, how do you think, like, what do you think they're feeding them? Like, what do you feed a baby cow other than milk from its mother? Like, this is the craziest thing. So, like I said, they always take the extremes. They never try to actually present things as they are. These cows drink their mother's milk. And the thing is about the mothers, they are bred to produce a lot of fucking milk, okay? More than they can handle and more than their little babies can drink. Like, there's a surplus, and that's what the humans take. They take the surplus. And here's another thing. Cows don't produce much milk, nor do they produce very high quality milk if they're stressed out and not having a good time. So the fact that they have the surplus means that these cows are probably chilling, you know, living pretty decent lives, laying around in their hay and munching on some grass and stuff like that. That's where a cow wants to be, you know. And most of the cows, when they get in that slaughter line or whatever, where they do the little blow to the head, that's instant kill, by the way. I mean, they aren't stressed. They don't even know what's happening to them. I've seen it in videos. I mean, again, there's exceptions to this. I'm pointing out the best, and there's way, way worse where the cows do know what's coming their way. But either way, it's usually quick. The intention is to be pretty much instant so that the animals don't suffer. I believe there's actually laws against intentional suffering of the animals when they're being slaughtered, so they are protected. But again, that's not something that these vegans care about, because the fact of the matter is these vegan activists, and for all vegans, just these activists like Tosh Peterson, Vegan Gains, that vegan teacher, one of the most notorious of them all, is that they don't give two fucks about the actual animals and their well-being, because they would rather see these dairy animals go extinct rather than have very healthy, pampered lives for 4 to 7 years before they are then, you know, turned into food, because that's what we've bred them to do. We've bred them to produce milk. We've bred them to produce food for us, which I know sounds awful, but it's much better than the alternative. We are omnivores. We got to get our meat intake. The majority of us have to get our meat intake. So it's in our best interest to just simply do it the best way that we can and the most ethical way that we can, so that animals suffer the least amount possible. I'd be a way better vegan than you. I mean, this is the kind of thing I'd be advocating for, was like, hey, let's make sure the animals get treated well and that they don't have really horrible lives and that they're not tortured and confined in small spaces where they can't even move their muscles, right? That's the kind of thing that we should be looking for. That's the kind of, because that's the only realistic reform. Trying to convert everybody to veganism is a fucking dream at best. It is not anything rooted in reality. It's never going to happen. You're never going to change people's hearts and minds to the point where they care more about the lives of some random dairy cow than their own. You can convince people to care about the well-beings of them up until they turn into food, and even then, like, making sure that that's as quick and painless as possible, because I'm like, what's the alternative? That they're murdered by a predator where they have to be eaten alive for 15-20 minutes? That doesn't sound like a good fate. If I was a cow and my options were, hey, get killed by a wolf, you know, you might live 1 extra year, but you know, you have to be eaten to death for 15-20 minutes, or just die instantly randomly after having a very, very good pampered life. I'm going with that option.
Watch Dominion on YouTube for the truth. These babies should be with their mothers, but they're not, so you can have dairy products. Stop supporting this violence.
No, what violence is she talking about? Are we at the same royal show? Because well, I mean, I'm not there, but like I'm witnessing it from, you know, my perspective with my eyes and everything. But you know, I'm just saying, to me, it doesn't look like there's all that much violence going on. Like, look, those cows look like they're just straight chilling. Like, honestly, the only violence I think they're experiencing is the fucking ear torture that you've inflicted upon them.
Animals want to live. Just like us. Animals feel pain. Just like us. Their bodies. Not ours. Their lives. Not ours. Their milk. Not ours. Their bodies. Not ours. Excuse me, what did you call me?
Yo, y'all need to give my boy Fred here a raise, because he is spitting nothing but straight facts. I personally wouldn't call, you know, a young, classy lady the C word, but I won't hold it against him. You know, you say your piece, brother. I'm with you. Go off, King.
What, you're responsible for the rape of mothers?
Find out some truth, you dumb bitch.
Okay, so why are the babies separated from their mothers? Why aren't they with their mothers?
They are well and truly looked after.
Why are the babies separated from their mothers and sent to a slaughterhouse?
Because if you...
Sent to a slaughterhouse.
You're going.
Dairy cows are raped and forcibly impregnated. After a 9-month pregnancy, when she gives birth, her baby is kidnapped from her. If he's born male, he's bludgeoned to death or sent to a slaughterhouse just days to weeks old.
Get the camera off.
Get the fuck off me!
Oi!
Let's go!
Hey!
Oi! What the fuck? What the fuck? This is so wrong!
Get off! Ash, get off!
Please do
Let go of the camera.
We will comply if you do not steal
Let go
our
of me.
property.
Let go of the camera.
We will comply if you do not
I'm
steal our
handing it to the
property.
police. Let
not-
go of the property. Let go yourself. Why? It's my property. I haven't done anything.
What the fuck?
What have I done? Tell me what I've done.
Oh, well, I mean, I know the police here are being a little bit quiet, but I can answer that question for you, what you've done. You and your silly little vegan girlfriend broke into a place where neither of you are allowed to be. You were banned from this area. You were escorted out multiple times. You were trespassed, which is why you got in there with your goofy little disguises, because you knew that the people would recognize you. And that was the only way that you were going to be able to get in there. By the way, great disguises. I think that was a really, really clever idea. I mean, you know, a lot of times you don't see things that you see in like TV shows and cartoons and stuff come to the real life, but there it is for everybody to see. And I thought that was a wonderful move, probably the best thing that you did in this video, so, you know, props to you. But yeah, you and your disrupted goofy ass vegan boyfriend who both need to get on some B12 supplements, or maybe just, you know, have a nice steak or something like that, or some chicken, so that mineral can get into your brain and hopefully fix the damage that these vegan diets have done to you over, you know, the couple of years. You guys can't think straight. You can't even like fathom what you're doing wrong when you're literally like very conscious of it, considering you knew you were banned from this and you weren't supposed to do anything like this again. And here you are, you've returned, and you're doing exactly what you're not supposed to be doing. You're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. What did I do? What did I do? Nothing. Like, yeah, you sound like a complete fucking moron. That's all I got for you.
Can someone please call the police? This is so wrong. Don't break it. They put him in a headlock. It's disgusting. It's disgusting what they're doing to him. Please just get them off him. He didn't do anything wrong. Please, just get them off him. Please. Can you please just make sure he's okay? It's disgusting. It's actually disgusting. It's disgusting what they just did to him.
Gosh, the way she goes from like tough protester mode to big crybaby is crazy. I mean, yeah, your boyfriend got thrown to the ground and tossed around like some salad a little bit, but he's okay. I mean, it's not like they're like pummeling him, beating the living daylights of him. I mean, this was probably one of the most mild like police detainings ever. I mean, they kind of wrestled him to the ground a little bit because, I mean, he wasn't complying clearly, but this really wasn't that bad. I don't know why you're crying like a little 4-year-old. Like, oh my God, is he okay? Like, good Lord, he's fine. Also, considering that you guys were clearly trespassed from this area, you were committing a crime. Your phones and all that stuff is now evidence. that is now property of the police until, you know, their investigation that they're gonna have to do is completed. So yeah, you gotta forfeit that crap. You dug your hole, and now you gotta lie in that bitch.
You know better. It's not your first rodeo.
Mother dairy cows are raped and forcibly impregnated. When she gives birth, her babies are kidnapped from her. Imagine having your baby ripped away from you and your breast milk stolen. Every year in Australia, 1 million male bobby calves just days old are bludgeoned to death, or they're sent to a slaughterhouse with their throats slit. This is what you support if you're not vegan. Please
Watch the cooking on YouTube.
proof. Stop supporting rape, slavery, torture, abuse, and murder. This is what you support if you're not vegan. Animals want to live just like us. We are non-violent activists trying to stop a Holocaust.
Gosh, can I get an eye roll, please? That was tough to watch. Not for the reasons that you'd think, Tosh Peterson, but for the reasons that my audience would think, because she's just so insufferable. Of course, she's got to end this. I'm trying to end the Holocaust. Oh my God, shut up. No, you're not. You guys don't give a fuck about animals. The Holocaust would actually be if people stopped eating these animals and released them into the wild, and then they all died from starvation and being hunted. That would be more of a Holocaust, because that would actually lead to the extermination of these creatures, which is what you guys want, because that's clearly the path that you think we should take, right? But you know, who am I to make the call on that? And also, I just want to say, gosh, she is fighting tooth and nail, you know, from the moment she's getting dragged, I mean, all the way out, the whole time, just shouting, just nothing, over and over and over again, just nonsense, just this crazy, ridiculous vegan propaganda is out of this fucking world. I mean, it's just so insane that she's like, if you're not vegan, you support all of these horrible things. Like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, lady? That's simply not true. I don't know if you can grasp this concept, but I'm not vegan. Most people aren't vegan, and I think the majority of us don't support those horrific things that you've outlined. You just cannot accept things as they are without exaggerating them to the absolute worst that your silly little vegan brain can possibly imagine. And it's just not true. This is why we clown on you goofballs, because you guys really believe this. I don't know if you really believe this. I think you're actually just delusional. I think you went vegan. You were probably an otherwise fairly normal person, but then the lack of B12 and vitamin A and the other important nutrients just started to really mess with your brains and the chemistry and all that stuff, and now you're all just a bunch of crazy lunatics. I mean, it can't just be a coincidence, right? It's a trend. Like, it's happening for a reason. I feel like there has to be some sort of cause, some sort of correlation, you know? Maybe some study really needs to be done on this, because there really isn't that much studying that has happened in the last few years. Mostly people just don't give a shit about vegans and veganism as a whole. They just kind of scoff at it. They're like, I don't want to waste my time with that stupid shit. But like, gosh, seriously, like, somebody really needs to do an in-depth, thorough study on like how these vegan diets actually affect people's brains, because I really think, I mean, with the exception to Vegan Gains, I mean, he was always crazy. I mean, the guy was talking about stomping babies' heads to death. I don't think he's been vegan his whole life, but I mean, at the same time, maybe this did come from, maybe he has been vegan for the majority of his life, and then that was just a consequence of it. But I really don't know his origin that well. I just know he said some extremely out of pocket things, and so have the rest of them. But anyway, that's enough clowning for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and if you did enjoy, feel free to like and subscribe buttons. Till next time.